Good evening, sir, or perhaps I should say traveller. Allow me to pour you a cup of tea and share a tale that has lingered in whispers far longer than daylight would dare permit. You see, not all roads are equal. Some lead us home, some lead us astray, and some, well, they vanish beneath your very feet. Tonight's story belongs to that third kind. There is a legend spoken quietly along the highways of Europe, the tale of the vanishing hitchhiker. Picture the scene. A lone driver returning home after midnight. The rain taps on the windshield. The world is hushed save for the hum of the engine. Suddenly a figure appears by the roadside, a young woman, pale with eyes full of sorrow. She raises her hand. A gesture, small but desperate. The driver, moved by pity, allows her inside. She sits quietly, whispers a name, and points to a destination not far away. Her voice carries an echo, as if from another time. Yet when the car stops before the appointed house and the driver turns to speak, the seat is empty. No door was heard, no footsteps, only silence. Bewildered, he knocks at the house. An old man answers, and with a tired sigh, he says the words that turn one's blood to ice. Yes, she was my daughter, but she died 10 years ago on that very road. Now, my dear listener, one may dismiss such accounts as superstition, or perhaps the weary trick of a drowsy mind. Yet, they are told and retold across lands and languages with the same sorrowful detail. Could so many voices all be mistaken? Perhaps the truth is simpler. Perhaps the road remembers. And perhaps the dead, in their longing, reach out, not to harm us, but to remind us. To remind us that the distance between the living and the departed is thinner than the width of glass, thinner than the pause between heartbeats. So, should you find yourself driving alone and the night feels a little too heavy, do keep an eye on the roadside. Should a figure raise her hand, pale and pleading, you may be tempted to stop. But if you do, remember this tale, for when you turn to speak, you may find yourself addressing only shadows. Now, sit back, if you will. I wish to share another story I first heard whispered in the quiet corners of a small village nestled by the river that cuts through the heart of England. A tale, as the villagers claim, older than any of the stone houses that line the banks. A tale of the bridge that casts shadows longer than the night itself. The old bridge, they call it. Built centuries ago, its stones worn smooth by the passing of countless feet, its arches framing the river like hollow eyes. It is said that those who cross it alone after midnight may glimpse a figure half-formed drifting along the edge. Some call it a phantom, some a warning, others simply a trick of the moonlight on the water. Now, I must admit, I have always approached these stories with a measure of skepticism, and yet there are the accounts, repeated year after year, with details that refuse to conform neatly to invention. One traveler claimed he saw the figure pause, as if watching him, and felt a chill, not from the wind, but from something unseen. He insisted upon recounting the tale that his heart had never beaten so quickly. But could it not have been a shadow, a reflection the river missed? Perhaps. My own inclination is to seek rational explanation, and yet the mind has a curious way of noticing what it wishes to notice, and sometimes the unexplained finds purchase in the memory regardless of reason. A young woman once crossed the bridge alone, returning from a late market. She felt eyes upon her, though the street was empty. A voice, soft and almost imperceptible, seemed to whisper her name. She hurried on, telling herself it was merely the rustle of leaves, the wind through the arches. Yet when she looked back, a shadow lingered, one that should not have been possible, not given the position of the moon nor the angle of the lamp-posts. Stories such as these thrive because they are persistent, and perhaps that is the truth worth noting. Perhaps the bridge does not host a spirit at all, but rather memory itself, for the stones have witnessed centuries, and even without breath or voice the past may cling stubbornly, sometimes catching the eye, sometimes a chill at the nape of the neck. So, if you ever find yourself wandering late at night near an old bridge, do pause and listen, not merely with your ears, but with that deeper,